It is the third and final part of the trilogy. The trilogy. Okay, the moment that you have all been waiting for is the third and final part to the Stairs in the Woods, which is my theory as to what the Stairs in the Woods actually are. And shocker, it's actually simpler than you think, in my theory. So, spent a bit of time researching this, had a lot of fun making this theory, so there will be more of these videos, don't you worry. That's the intro, let's get into it. So before I actually start talking about what the stairs are, I need to talk about where this is happening because the location is very, very important to any theory ever. So the original author never tells us where this actually takes place, like explicitly, which is intentional for him. But I think we can kind of reverse engineer with some hints from the story. We know a few things for sure. First, it's in the United States. That's explicitly said, at least that. Second, the environment has a dense forest area. Not a scrubland, not a desert, dense forest. And third, the climate has distinct seasons, including winter, real winter, and snow that sticks, with like mountains and peaks and everything. And the fourth, there is a repeated mention of something called the Hairy Man. Now, Bigfoot is never outright named, but let's not dance around it. The folklore and conspiracy that circles like a hairy man is like the oldest tale of time and the oldest alternate name for Bigfoot. I am comfortable making that conclusion and I'm going to run with that. So what I did was I looked up a map of Bigfoot sightings. So I started with the biggest clusters of where Bigfoot has actually been seen. And one of these was like upper Houston, Texas, and the other was east of Dallas. So naturally, I looked at like the major forest areas in that area, and Houston, Texas gave us Sam Houston National Forest and Sabine National Forest. East of Dallas pushes us towards the Wichita National Forest, a little bit farther northeast. Unfortunately, this is where things stop lining up though. All of these locations do not have the right climate. They have a humid subtropical climate. Remember, we are not looking for a humid subtropical climate. We're looking for dense forest and we're looking for snow and mountains and those types of things. These have hot, sticky summers, mild winters, not what we're looking for. So this tells me something very important. Texas, Dallas, the biggest spots actually that Bigfoot are seen in are not it. So now we're gonna work backwards on that theory. I asked a different question. Where in the US do we have massive remote forests, mountain terrain, heavy snowfall, harsh winters, and at least some sightings of Bigfoot? That narrows the list very, very quickly. And Washington State immediately stands out. We got Olympic National Park, North Cascades National Park, and then Mount Rainier National Park. Mount Rainier fits very well. It has an enormous wilderness. It has some of the most dense old growth forest in the country and is dominated by massive glacial mountains, and it's one of the snowiest places on Earth. Long winters, deep snowpack, frequent avalanches, and people actively camp, hike, and disappear there. Very important. When you zoom out on the Bigfoot reports, they're very sparse, but they're there. So for the sake of this theory and where we want to place it, I am placing this location of his stories in Mount Rainier National Park in Washington. Let's talk about what the stairs actually are now. I'm gonna give you my theory straight up. Very simple. The stairs are not abandoned structures. They are not random artifacts. They are not ritualistic or symbolic. They are portals. Simple yet not simple. They are specifically portals to the fourth dimension. And before this turns out like all sci-fi and everything, I really want to clarify something. I'm not talking about the Tesseract. I'm not talking about the higher dimensional cubes or anything. I am talking about the physics definition of the fourth dimension. In physics, the fourth dimension is commonly understood as time. Einstein's theory of relativity merges the three dimensions of space with time and what is called the space-time continuum. A fourth dimensional structure where space and time are inseparable. Time is not just some clock ticking forward. It stretches, it compresses, it distorts. It behaves depending on gravity, speed, and mass. If time is a dimension, then theoretically it can be entered, exited, or even manipulated. I don't believe that time is just flawed, like in itself. It's not just like, oh, it just splits open in the earth. Now you fall through the earth. No, I don't believe that that's a thing. I think time is more structured than that, and the universe is more structured than that. I think that these rips in time, or these portals that are open in the forest maybe, are by human error or human experiment. Call it the classified research, call it a government experiment, whatever you want. But I believe that someone has pushed against the dimensional boundary and cracked it. And what has leaked through? Is the stairs. The stairs have leaked through. They're not meant for us. They're not meant to be touched. They're not meant to be gone up, just like he says in his stories. They are a side effect of this experimentation, this human error. So that's kind of generally what I think the origin of them are. What the human experiment or whatever was going on, government experiment, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Honestly, it could be anything. And that's not what I'm supposed to be hypothesizing here. I'm giving you this general, very simple theory that I think makes sense. So please, comment down below what you think it could be, or what maybe it relates to something in real life. Maybe it relates to a experiment that you know of, like a government experiment or something. There could be. Y'all let me know. So now I kind of want to give you a little bit of evidence from the stories to support that, because that's the main information that we're using here. So the theory explains multiple details in the story and that don't make sense otherwise. The strongest example I see is the missing 11-year-old boy from part 1. Search and rescue team, they tracked a scent and it didn't move naturally. If we remember the red and black checkerboard, it jumped from square to square. Like red square to red square. Unnatural, not usually how that happens. And that doesn't usually happen unless someone is not obeying linear time. It's almost like he was moving above the forest and not through it, around it and not through it. Then they eventually, at the end of the story, they find him dead at the bottom of the staircase. Now, this was an unusual death because if you remember, they found holes in his organs with no exterior wounds, no signs of trauma. He was just curled up in a little ball at the bottom of the stairs. So this suggests two possibilities. One, the human body cannot survive fourth dimensional displacement. And two, something exists in space that interacts with us in ways that we don't understand, or both. Let me explain that a little bit further. Number one being the human body cannot survive fourth dimensional displacement. This jumping of time, or this going around of time, however you want to think about that. Our body can't handle that. And so it reacts in an unnatural way. Holes in your organs, or you're suddenly dizzy, or you can't hear, or your ears start ringing, just like when the man walked to the top of the stairs in part 2, I believe. Unusual doesn't usually happen. Number two, something exists in space that interacts with us in a way that we don't understand. This, if I were to relate it to an example of something that maybe is familiar to you, it's like the entity in the back rooms. There is this long black, like spider entity. I want to explain it like just put a picture up. And that was a result of a human science experiment. And that thing just would roam around in the back rooms. It's kind of a similar theory. The scent jumping around really makes sense if he was moving through time instead of space. And finding him at the base of the stairs ties it directly to the stairs. The stairs are the causation of this. So how do these stairs work? I don't think just anyone walks up them. I think they pull you. And this happens repeatedly. In part 2, we see a couple camping. And the girlfriend wakes up in the middle of the night to this grinding noise outside their tent. And she later is found standing in front of a set of stairs in a trance-like state. She doesn't say she's curious, she says she has to go. The stairs are calling her. That's not interest, that is compulsion. Even a SAR officer who briefly climbs up a staircase experiences hearing loss and disorientation. That matters. Hearing loss is not random. and it suggests pressure changes and spatial disorientation, something physically altering about your perception. I think walking up the stairs accelerates your movement through time, slowly at first, but barely noticeable. That's why it was able to slowly come up on him, the deafness that he was hearing. And then it goes faster and faster. And by the time it ends, you don't even know. And then when you reach the top, the portal opens, but it's not this spectacle with light and sound and glitter. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's almost gentle, again, leading you in when you don't even know it. Once it opens, you're gone. Inside the fourth dimension, if we're thinking about that, if we're going as far to think about inside the fourth dimension, you jump locations, you see figures without faces, you stand on snowy peaks that don't align with geography and time just collapses. And if you return from this, it's as if you never left. Except sometimes parts of you don't return properly. Like in part 2, with the embedded arm inside the tree, completely severed, clean. Like the organs destroyed internally without wounds exteriorly. Like children who never come back at all. Now, I don't think the stairs are necessarily evil. I think they're neutral. They're leftovers. They're a doorway that was not meant to be opened or stay open. And the forest, dense, cold, quiet, is just where they happen to surface. They're not meant to be here. So, just remember, don't touch them, don't look at them, and most of all, don't go up them. So, that's my theory. That is my very short, simple theory. I thought I'd keep it like relatively simple. I didn't want to get into anything crazy. You know, the craziest thing I would get into is fourth dimensional physics and Einstein. But I don't feel like that's that crazy. If you've watched conspiracy theories, it's not that crazy. But that's the theory. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts, opinions, feelings. Sarah, you're wrong. Sarah, I loved it. Sarah, you forgot about this. Sarah, you missed this detail. Please use your comments. Use the comments down below to just tell me all your thoughts, please. I would love to hear it. And I'm gonna say this, but I'm still gonna do more of these videos. If you want more of these videos, please also comment down that below. Because I really enjoy these videos. I think they're really fun. I love conspiracy theories. I love yapping. We love a yapper. And they're really fun to make. They're really fun to hypothesize and read and edit. And yeah, I just love storytelling. So there will be more, but let me know if you want more. So yeah. And if you have like conspiracy theories or Reddit stories or something that you want me to cover or read dramatically, then also let me know that, because I would love to also do that. But that is it for the trilogy. Love y'all. Thanks for staying. And as always, that is all, folks. That was not okay. I did not like that. Ow. Oh, my ankle. Oh, this is going in the end of the video. End card. End card. Okay. Goodbye. Love y'all. I see ya. Goodbye. Muscle. Try. You can't see anything.